Hello everyone, hopefully you can hear me. Sorry that I'm a bit later than I'd planned. Traffic, that's all I can really say, I'm afraid. So right now we are only just coming on live, sorry for the clicking. Hopefully people will start coming in soon. Hopefully you'll get the notifications. So I'm just going to go pop onto my Facebook, which is usually my pretty good go-to notifications thing. Hello, number one. Okay, well, we have someone watching. Do you want to introduce yourself? But yeah, okay. So basically what I'm doing now is I've decided to try and start live streaming. I'm Ed from Big Ed's Law, and I thought it might be worth giving it a shot. So hopefully I'm going to be doing it in this sort of format. I've got a couple of stories. Some of them are older, some of them are new. It's ones that I particularly wanted to talk about. And yeah, I wanted to basically share them with people and give some thoughts on them. I've got a nice little list hidden away on my computer. As always, it's one of those dig it out first. Like I said, I am running very, very late. This is due to traffic in the area where I live. Didn't account for that on my journey, unfortunately, so downside to everything, I suppose. So typical. Okay. Okay, well, I've got my list of topics. So what I'm going to do is pretty much start talking in a minute. Like I said, excuse me. So the principle of what I'm planning on doing is brief introduction. So I'm Ed from Big Ed's Law. I'm hoping that everyone's having a good evening, and I want to talk to you about a few news items that I found. So if we can get started, the first and foremost is the casting of Henry Cavill as Geralt of apologies for that. The casting of the casting of Henry Cavill as Geralt of Rivia. Now, this is possibly the reason why he's quit the Superman role. That in itself has created some interesting, shall we say, situations. So let's read some of the story. One of the biggest bits of news that I have for you is that Henry Cavill is quitting the Superman role. This is most likely due to his commitment to the role of Geralt of Rivia in the next Netflix Witcher series. On the back of this, Michael B. Jordan, an actor known for playing Kruger in Black Panther, wants to play the part of Superman. At present, we are considering this information as extremely salty, as no official source has been quoted as confirming this. This appears to have been pretty much shot out of the sky anyway. He's pretty much said he won't do it. But, however, if they did want to do a black Superman, then it could very well work, because there is a Black Superman from Earth 2. This is one of the new 52 comics that was released. And I believe he's called Val Zod. and he's the Superman of that world. Now, I'm not entirely sure of his entire background, but it seems like General Zod in our universe, who's big bad and likes killing things, is basically role reversed in the new one, in the new 52. So he is pretty much the opposite of Kal-El's dad, Jor-El. So he's the scientist who sees the death of Krypton and decides to send his son to Earth. Now, I haven't really read the Earth 2 stuff. It's a small problem that I'm going to be rectifying soon, hopefully. But it does sound like it's quite a good comic series. It's set just after the initial Apocalypse attack in the New 52 universe. But in this universe, most of the main heroes die in the attempt, whereas in Earth 1 universe, the continuity main, the vast majority of the superheroes survived. One second. So, right. Now, the second story I want to bring up is Patrick Stewart has signed on to return as Jean-Luc Picard. Patrick says that there is no scripts at present or even a release date for the show, but he did say that he has been currently having a number of very frequent meetings with the CBS in order to finalise the show and create a solid base from which to play the new part. Now, as Patrick Stewart has said, this is now a slightly different Jean-Luc Picard to what we're used to. He's not the Starfleet Admiral that we're used to. By the sounds of things, he's not even in Starfleet anymore. And I'm interested to see what happens. There are rumours, plenty of them I might add, that do indicate that this series is going to be used as a merging point. So it sounds like they're going to merge the J.J. Abrams universe with the current Star Trek Discovery timeline and the Prime timeline. Now, the reason why I've placed all three of these timelines separately is purely for the fact that I do not feel that the Discovery timeline is the accurate timeline. It isn't prime time, as it were. And as a direct result of that, I put it as a separate thing. Now, it's going to be very interesting because obviously he's well into his 70s and he's not a young man anymore. So I can't imagine them putting any of the actors that will be in this, in, shall we say, a very adventurous role, I think the right word is. And as a direct result of that, I suspect he's going to be retired. I hope that he is still doing his archaeology and stuff like that. Hey, who knows? As an opening, it would be awesome to see him digging on some random planet. I think that would be an excellent start for archaeologist Jean-Luc Picard. Patrick Stewart feels it's time to bring the character of Picard back. Basically, he feels that over the years, as people have approached him saying that both the character and the show Next Generation have helped them through dark times, questionable times, etc., etc., etc. He feels that it's time to bring him back and see, given that we're currently in the middle of Brexit, we're currently in the middle of massive attempts to censor the internet, maybe some light needs to be shone on everything. So, as most of you are aware, third bit of news, we recently lost Burt Reynolds. Now, the Smokey and the Bandit star passed away after suffering from a heart attack or cardiac arrest. He leaves behind a son, Quentin Anderson Reynolds, and his wife, Judy Carn. Or Carn. I apologise, I'm not very good with certain name pronunciations, I'm afraid. Burt's acting career has spanned over 50 years and has seen him star in many TV shows, films, theatre shows. He was just the epitome of masculinity at one point, with that big old tash and beard he ended up with over the years. He will be missed. It's a shame he's gone, but everyone has their day, and unfortunately it was his time. So rest in peace, Burt Reynolds. We'll see you soon. Now, onto something that could be considered somewhat controversial. The new Netflix Witcher series is believed to be taking some creative liberties with Ciri, a character who is descendant of Elven, is a descendant of Elven blood. Now, I know things have been changed and revealed in recent days, but I'll give you what the information I have, or had. The original casting rumour has had her being a BAM character, basically black, Asian, minority ethnicity character. So basically they were changing her there was rumours that she was going to be going from the very, very white girl that's in the games and the books to a possibly coloured girl. Not a big problem. I do think they would be slightly disgracing the original and hardcore fan base. I do feel like they will be disgracing the core material, which I'm not particularly fond of on that point. I will give some thoughts at the end of the podcast. Well, not podcast, live stream. So, there is no confirmation at present. However, I can imagine something's going to be coming down the pipeline soon. Mainly because they're planning, from what, again, this is not confirmed, but it sounds like they were planning to try and start filming before the end of the year. So it also depends on where they film it, so it's going to be interesting. Now, new rumours regarding the casting of Ciri has placed several Polish actresses in positions to be considered for the part. Now, this would be very accurate to the history and lore of the franchise. Now, I'm not going to lie, I think it would be very interesting. They would have to keep with the accent, the Polish accent, for her father, the Emperor of Nilfgaard, and her mother, and her mother. I apologise, I don't have all the details. Like I said, I'm running very, very late. But yes, they would have to obviously keep with accents and base it like that. There's another. It sort of attaches to the Henry Cavill rumour casting. Don't get me wrong, Henry Cavill is a fairly I can't say dynamic actor because he's not. The thing is, he's got most of his roles based almost solely on the fact that he is bulked up for his Superman role. He is a very big bloke, very tall, very muscular, and that's the aspect that a lot of people have recognised him from. He bulked up majorly for Superman, Dawn of Justice, Justice League. He's maintained that physique for these films. Now, I do think that whoever they should... his casting's not terrible. Don't think it's great for the role. I'm going to be completely honest. Mainly because I feel that he should have been cast as an older man who's lean muscled, like we have visual references in the games, as a lean muscled individual. Now, okay, the game's slightly separate from the film, but they do... separate from the books, I should say, but they did use the books as a reference material. So any descriptions that were given there, they attempted to translate into the computer games. Hence the reason why so many people, including myself, are a little bit dubious about casting a fully alternate ethnic group for Ciri. Don't get me wrong, people say it would add something new to it, and yeah, in some regards I do believe they're possibly right. But at the end of the day, who knows? Could be interesting, might not be. Hopefully it's a good series, and hopefully it'll last and survive. Now I'm going to go into a slightly different subject here. Anime. I've recently been discovering different anime, thanks to my friends and some of my co-workers. I've discovered series like One Punch Man. I've binge watched the whole thing. Very amusing, very well. I very much enjoyed it. I'm not usually super fond of the anime that focus so heavily on comedy, but I do enjoy it. Now, a new one that I am currently watching is called Overlord. Now, I've written something down, so I'm going to just read what I've written down, just so you know where I'm going with this. Overlord is based on a manga and short fan novels of the same name, and was created by Kunuge Moriyama. I butchered that name. I'll put it in the description after we finish this. The show focuses on a character called Momonga. He is the last known player of a DM or Deep Dive, or DD, yeah, Deep Dive multiplayer online RPG called Yggdrasil. The servers for Yggdrasil were shut down after 12 years of constant running. Apparently the game was exceptionally popular. Now, Momonga belongs to the strongest guild that was in Yggdrasil. He had dozens of god items. Basically the guild managed to basically ace everything. They maxed out their own personal levels, maxed out their own personal skills. Basically they ground themselves to like the highest point where no one could actually touch them. It is an epic first season. I really did enjoy it. The second series, season, I've watched 4 episodes of. So far it's proving to be a very interesting one. It's taken the focus away from Momonga and the Tomb of Nazarick and placed it more on the extraneous characters like his elite guard and several groups of people who are not part of the primary group, which I do think is a very interesting take on it. I fully appreciate how they do it, and it just seems to be how they've done a very nice OP character, and it basically works. Now, I think I may have just merged two things together there. I apologise, but yeah, I really do enjoy Overlord. It's quite a good series. Now, One Punch Man is also a very good series. Again, extremely overpowered character, to the point where he literally kills everything in one punch. His name is Saitama. I apologise. And he does a very good job at killing everything in one shot, and he is horrendous at turning up on time for a battle. I mean, he's very much like me on that, very late. as you may have worked out. Now, it's very much based on a webcomic. One guy decided he wanted to do it, so he did it. The webcomics and series are available online. You just search One Punch Man manga and you'll find it. There are quite a few volumes, so I can see there's a good potential for quite a few series out of this. At the moment they've only done one. There has been, I think, a teaser trailer quite recently for season 2, and at present that's it. 1 second. But yeah, Right, I'm just going to go and try and dig up a little bit of news. Usually I like comicbooks.com for that, because they tend to bring up some really nice and interesting stuff. I mean, they're fairly good at covering pretty much everything that's relevant. So I mean, they've got everything from casting for new anime, movies, Dragon Ball Z, RPGs, Arrow, stuff like that, which is pretty cool actually. But yeah, right. Well, we'll stick with The Witcher for the moment, and it looks like there is a first-person mode modification, I might add, for The Witcher 3, which, given how detailed this world is, it could be exceptionally interesting. Now, what I will do is put in the description below the link to the video. The guy who's posted the video is called, good, I'm going to spell it out so you can pick it, SKACIKPL, capital PL. And oh good lord, I've just watched a little bit and wow, it looks really, really good. Oh, I'm going to have to start playing the game again with this mod. It looks really, really good. Okay, apologised. Though simplistic, it's not dumbed down. The mod offers the perspective customization options. Different effects applied to how the player experiences the world. Experimental combat support, and so much more. Now, it's on the list, it's got a nice little list. On the webpage, it's got a nice little list, so I'll read that out to you. It's got immersive first-person camera that properly follows Geralt's body, customizable field of view, arranged from 1 to 110, customizable separate X and Y axis mouse sensitivity, optional first-person only DOF effect, optional first-person only Do Not Disturb mode that will allow you to avoid combat as long as you're in the first-person mode. That could be interesting. Entirely non-conflicting setup, excuse me, an entirely non-conflicting setup compatible with all mods and all game versions up to from 1.08 and up. Experimental combat support, so I'm assuming when you enter combat it will hopefully follow you and track you. Immersive lighting, no fake light source in first person mode, and optional adaptive depth field of effect. Could be interesting. Like I said, I do plan on installing this mod, so it's going to be interesting later. Hello to the new guy. I hope you're well. Now, as Nexus mods go, it's a very good page. If you go there, you'll be able to find it. I will find the listing page for you and place it in the description below, so that if you do play The Witcher on PC, unfortunately, then you will be able cool, got it. You'll then be able to play the game in first person mode. So I hope you guys like first person modes. So what else can we talk about? Well, let's have a look, shall we? Yeah, if you, for the record, if you want to ask me anything, ask me it. I mean, just type it in the chat. I will do my utmost to answer any questions you have. If it's about anything that I've written or talked about, or if there's a specific thing that you think I've gotten wrong, then please, seriously, please type it up and let me know if you want to chat. And what I'm going to do is trying to keep this stream to about half an hour long. But please, you're more than welcome to let me know. I will try and pick up the stream again later on, either tonight or early tomorrow, for some of those of you who are abroad and can't easily see what I'm up to. So, right, we will go to Pokemon Sun and Moon news. It looks like Pokemon Sun and Moon are launching a new... Sorry, they're wrapping up a major story arc as Ash and his friends battle with a legendary Pokemon and beast, so that the series has confirmed it will begin a new arc next month. To go along with the major schedule change, the new main visual The series will begin a new arc featuring famous faces on October 7th. Pokemon's anime will be moving to a Sunday evening time slot in October. I do not think this is a good plan. Mainly because the unfortunate scenario is this. Every time stuff gets moved to a Sunday slot, it usually bombs. Doctor Who, with its new female Time Lord in Jodie Whittaker, is being placed in a Sunday slot. I know everyone is determined that it not have any competition as such. I do feel that it's probably something that could potentially cause issues, mainly because it feels like they're now going to be trying to shut the show down, which is kind of sad in many respects, but it happens. I can't say they're going to PC, but it's going to be interesting. Okay, right, well, it looks like there's not many people in the room anymore, so I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this stream, then please click the subscribe button. Thank you very much, and I shall see you hopefully soon. Hello? Hello there, to the new guy. How you doing? Sorry, I'm just trying to find... You can tell I'm running really late. I just haven't been able to find all the stuff that I've been planning to talk to you guys about. Sorry about that. But yeah, if you just want to say hi, and please do. If you have any questions for me, in regards to anything that I've talked about or anything that you want me to talk about, then please put them in the chat. Let me know as soon as you can. I'm Ed from Big Ed's Lore, a channel dedicated to making lore videos on the Alien franchise, the Predator franchise, the crossover franchise, AVP, and I've just recently started Star Trek, and I'm hoping to start a Star Wars series, as well as continue a Warhammer series I started previously. Now, over the course of this live stream video, if you're new here, please put any comments or questions you want in the chat box. I will answer them as soon as I can. So what I will do is I will now bring up a new story to read to you. In anime news, as some of you may or may not be aware, there is a new computer game called Jump Force. It's based on the Shonen Jump group, so you get characters from Danganronpa, Bleach, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, and several other shows. Now the game looks interesting. I've seen some demonstration footage. I think it looks really quite good for a Dragon Ball Z game. Very old school, very fighty, which is always a good sign in my opinion. And it looks like a new image has been shared which seems to indicate that Goku Super Saiyan Blue will be showing up in Jump Force. For those of you who aren't aware, Super Saiyan Blue is the next stage in Super Saiyan evolution. It appears that it is his God form. Well, sorry, it's not his God form, it's his Control Key God level form. Whereas his God form is basically him losing a bit of weight and glowing bright red. Now, it looks like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is also possibly going to be taking part in this game. This is a franchise that I thoroughly enjoyed when I was a lot younger. Not so much now. I've never really been into the customizable card games, but I did like how the series portrayed the holograms and everything like that. The latter series did try and expand upon that a little bit, but yeah, I'm very much of the old school Beyblade era, I'm afraid. But let's find... Right, apparently it's Batman Day, or it has been Batman Day. Fans have celebrated all things Batman.
What's going on, Comic Book Nation? Welcome
dressed up as Batman and Robin and all the other
with
Cape Crusaders and Cape
really
Alliances and Friends.
The cast and writer
it looks like Mark Hamill has tweeted out
it's been 23 years since
very
the show
heartfelt shout out to Kevin Conroy.
And we're all still
I'm going to read it out to you. For years I've dreamed of finding part...
How does it feel for you guys being
For
this
years
far
I dreamed of finding a part as far from it as possible.
For the work that
Thanks to everyone at
Batman
the Animated Series for making my dreams come true. On this special day, a shout out to my one and only Dark Knight, real Kevin Conroy. Happy Batman Day 2018.
Batman and Harley Quinn. So it was like
I kind of like that. It certainly,
like you said, you guys have all done more work.
Certainly touches on the whole sort of like, yes,
what
he's
made
awesome.
Batman the Animated Series stand out amongst
Speaking of the Joker,
those projects?
There is, I believe, a Joaquin Phoenix
everything
Origins film coming out. I'm not too sure on the casting on that one, but I suppose
a full symphony score.
You can't have it both ways, really. Mark Hamill can't really do the Joker physically, and
once they established where we wanted to go with the characters and with the series and how we wanted it to play, we adhered to that tone all the way through, and there was something that kids could watch it, adults could watch it.
It looks like everyone's bounced out, so I'm going to end this stream here. Thank you very much for watching and being part of this stream. Hopefully I can
kids could enjoy it.
Bring the stream to life.
I think most of the audience was really like college age, wasn't it? I mean, it was a more adult.
I mean, it spoke to a huge range, which also is nice. It transcended ages, genders.
Hopefully, I can continue being a good
for me
host to you.
personally, I love the darker versions of Batman always, and this one was so authentic and dark, and we were like, it didn't even feel like we were doing a cartoon.
Not at all.
You know, I always say that's the closest thing to my own voice, because it was just
so
us
hi
in these
to the person who's joined. If you want to message me at all, please place your comments in the box.
Like that animation
if there's anything you want me to
if
cover,
you put that on TV today and said
please let me know.
Stuff, people would totally
what
buy
I
it
will
for the
do is
especially when
let's
it's getting
rehashing, shall we?
Remastered.
As most of you are aware,
and for
recently,
which that's coming up later this year, correct?
Henry Cavill has joined the
October
ranks
16th.
of the Witcher series.
109 episodes.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, he is a Witcher. I personally think he probably doesn't have quite the
everyone is like, this is the best DC movie of all time.
Period.
Yeah, and it's also coming to DC.
But
The first two seasons, correct? Coming to DC Universe streaming service, which is
casting
TBD,
has
still launching
opened up the
at some
Superman
point this year.
role
How
to
excited
someone
was it
else.
for you guys to figure out,
Now,
like, hey,
no
we're going
one's
to get to
entirely sure
re-release
what's
this
going on with that.
a new generation, because it's hard to find
Michael
streaming unless you
Jordan,
purchase it on Amazon. I mean, it's
Black
hard to find
Panther
them.
Well, you know, it's fun.
was
Going to
interested in
Comic-Cons,
it.
That's what's so much fun about
A lot of
Comic-Cons now, is
fans,
you really get to
needless to
interact
say,
with the
kicked
audience.
up about it.
And 27 years ago, we were
I
putting all
didn't
this out in the
scream and
ether.
yell and
We
shout and
never
stamp
had the
feet,
interaction with the audience,
but
you know?
I do
So
understand
now
why
I
they
have
were stressed.
Parents coming up to me.
Now there is a
and say,
character
"I'm
called
introducing
Val
my
Zod.
kids to
He's from
your
Earth 2
show,
in the New
and this is
52
something
canon.
we share as a
He
family.
is a black
you know?
Superman.
That's a great thing
If
to
they
be a
wish
part
to
of.
have him cast as that
Have
part,
y'all, as voice
he's more
actors,
than welcome
as
for
you
that part.
reprise these roles over the years, have you tried to
It
change
kind of brings
or
back
you
the
always want to
whole,
go back to
are they
what you
trying
did in
to-
the animated series that worked so well?
what do they call it? BAM eyes. the different roles. I know that the role of 007 was questioned. Idris Elba was considered, however he decided not to do it. Again, it's one of those situations that he is a little bit too old for it. Not knocking the man, he's a good actor, but unfortunately if you only get one movie out of him, what's the point in casting him? On the Witcher front, the casting for Ciri has caused some issue. There's rumours that she was to be cast as a BAM character, which is Black Asian Minority Ethnic character. Now, rumour mill currently is running that they are looking at Polish actresses to be included in the casting call, which would touch on and quite nicely tie it in with the existing Witcher lore. Now, in regards to minority aspects, in this case sexual minority, the character of Ciri is rumoured to be a lesbian. She's at the very least considered bisexual, although she has not really had much in the way of in-story relationships. She has had, shall we say, encounters with women, which makes her eligible for bisexuality status. In regards to the Ciri casting, I'm not entirely worried about it. If they do stick with the ethnic aspect and stick with the Polish aspect, I think it'll be a good casting. Now, some of you may or may not know, if you haven't watched the earlier bit, we have a new series coming up starring Patrick Stewart as Jean-Luc Picard. This is not the Captain Jean-Luc Picard that we know of, and instead is a new retired Jean-Luc Picard. There is a strong possibility they are going to be taking this series and running it through the time travel mill. As a result, they seem to want to merge all the timelines into one so that they don't have to pay additional subsidies to another group or channel. The result of this is possibly going to be a headache for continuity, but it's going to possibly also make it a little bit easier to follow. In regards to Star Trek news, clips from the new Star Trek Discovery Season 2 have been released. I am not a personal fan of Discovery. I found the Season 1 writing and script writing and ship designs, etc., etc., to be a little unhinged and a little off kilter, which is a little bit of a shame, but it happens. Now, in regards to the season, it does look like they might be trying to bring it back to more classic Trek. The clips did seem to indicate this by having Spock involved, Captain Christopher Pike involved, and even an episode where it looks like we get at least a few more shots with the old school influenced Starship Enterprise. I'm very interested by this. It could be, or may not be, a positive change, but like I said, I've never been a major fan of Discovery. Now, one thing I want to talk about is the Infinity War. I've recently had the opportunity, thankfully, to watch this film. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I believe it's possibly one of the better films I've seen from Marvel for a while. Certainly a pretty good ensemble ensemble film. They seem to do quite well with giving each character sufficient screen time so that they didn't get boring or stale. I like this. And the way that they actually made Thanos borderline likable is frustrating as hell, because he was always a pain in the ass. But they did it well, and I did like the way they did it. He actually, well, I'm not going to go too far into spoiler territory, mainly because, ironically enough, like me, there are still a few people out there who haven't had the chance to see it. But yeah, I more or less know how they're going to correct it the wiping out of half the universe. It's, well, if they're going to follow the storyline of the comics, which is quite possible, then basically, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, most of the people that get erased are now trapped in the quantum realm. For those of you who don't know, the quantum realm in the Marvel Cinematic Universe appears to be the location where characters like Doctor Strange gain their abilities. It's also where the Soul Stone has a connection. So, I apologise if you didn't know that. Bit of news. You can look it up on the internet. I think it's on the Wikipedia page. There have also been images released of the new Captain Marvel film starring Brie Larson, and I am surprisingly interested in this series. I am surprisingly interested in this film, not from the fact that it's Brie Larson, but from the fact it's a Marvel film, and it could be quite interesting to see what a truly female lead Marvel film could do. Of course, when we're talking about Marvel-led female-led films, we aren't talking about the disappointing Ghostbusters reboot or the Ocean's 8 films. The Ocean 8 film. Now, I'm interested because there have also been reports of Marvel looking seriously into a all-female group of superheroes. I am a little bit, shall we say, 50-50 on that one. Let's just not turn around and say that could be a complete screw up. But let's just say it hasn't really helped. Right, I'm going to end this stream here. Thank you very much for watching this video, joining me on this stream. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments and description below, and I shall see you on the next stream. Thank you very much, and goodbye.